Dear students, today we are discussing about that is the types of egg what you find in different animals. So there are different types of eggs which is based on different category. So the first one that is on the basis of amount of yolk. So you already know that yolk it is a nutritive material which is found in an animal's egg. So on the basis of amount that is the presence or the absence of the yolk, the animal's egg has been classified into different types. So first one on the basis of amount of yolk, the eggs are grouped into four types on the basis of amount of yolk which is present in the egg. In the first one that is Lecitel egg, second that is micro, third one Mesolicital, and the fourth one that is macro or mega or Polylecital egg. So Lecitel egg, the word itself has its meaning. A means that is absence. So the egg which contains no yolk, that what we call it as Lecitel egg. For example, in case of eutherian mammals. Second one that is Microlecital egg. When the egg contains small or negligible amount of yolk, it is said to be microlecital. So Rover and Balansky, they named these eggs as oligolecital eggs, and these are found in Amphiaxis and tunicates. Third one that is Mesolicital egg. Here in the Mesolicital egg, what you find in amphibians, dipnoi and petromyzon, the amount of yolk present that is moderate and it is not too high. Hence, these eggs are also named as Mesolicital eggs. Fourth one that is macro, mega or poly. The word itself has its meaning. When the egg contains large amount of yolk, it is said to be macro or mega, or it is also called as polylecital egg, and this type you can find in reptiles, birds, prototheria, that is, and also you can found in egg laying mammals. So here is the picture which clearly says about the amount of yolk which is present in the egg. First one that is Lecitel egg, that is the absence of yolk. Second one Microlecital egg. Micro means small, that is small amount of egg. Meso, that is moderate amount of yolk. And the fourth one that is macrolecital or more amount of yolk. You can find in Macrolecital egg. In this picture, you can clearly make out the difference between different types of egg which has been classified on the basis of amount of yolk. Second criteria, the type of egg on the basis of distribution of yolk. So yolk will decide, that means whether the distribution should be uniform or not uniform. So here what happens, that has been divided into three types, that is Isolacital or Homolecital egg, Telolecital or third one that is Centrolacital egg. First one that is Isolacital egg. See here, when in case of echinoderms, amphiaxis and mammals, you can see a very little amount of yolk. So this amount of yolk, it is uniformly distributed throughout the ooplasm, and this condition is usually observed in eggs where you can find very little amount of yolk. And that type of egg, what we call it as a Isolacital egg or Homolecital egg. Second one that is Telolecital egg. In eggs where the amount of yolk, it is large or moderate quantity of yolk, the distribution of the yolk, it is not uniform. So here what happens, it is concentrated more towards the vegetal pole. such a type of egg in which the yolk is concentrated towards one pole, and that what we call it as Telolecital egg. Example, amphibian egg, eggs of fishes, reptilian and avian eggs. In this picture, here you can see the eggs have two poles, that is animal pole, upper pole, that is animal pole, and the vegetal pole. So here the concentration of the yolk will be towards the vegetal pole, and that type of egg we call it as Telolecital egg. The third one, that is Centrolacital egg. So here the word name, that is centro, means center. So egg of many arthropods, usually very good example, that is the insects, and some of the coelentrates, they have Centrolacital egg. That means the yolk will be concentrated in the center. They are relatively large and elongate and have a very great amount of yolk. So in this picture, you can clearly see the nucleus at the geometric center of the yolk mass, and it is surrounded by the cytoplasm. In this picture, the blue color which forms the cytoplasm. A thin cytoplasmic layer which covers the surface of the yolk, and the fine threads of the cytoplasm that will extend from the peripheral layer to the zone occupied by the nucleus. So these are the three different types of egg which is based on the distribution of the yolk. First one Isolacital, second one Telolecital, and third one, that is Centrolacital egg. So next, that is eggs as well as the early cleavage embryos are occasionally divided into two categories. First one, that is mosaic or determinate embryos, and second one regulative or indeterminate embryos. First one, that is mosaic eggs or determinate embryos. So in certain eggs, every portion are predetermined with respect to its potential for further development. So it has been already know which part has to be developed from which part. So in that case, if you remove a small portion of such an egg, the defective embryo will be formed. This is because the removal of portion results a permanent loss from the egg. So whatever the remaining portion of an egg, they cannot compensate to the development of the last part. Such an egg in which the future developmental potentialities are predetermined in the form of mosaic, and that what we call it as mosaic or determinate egg. Example, annelids, molluscs and ascidians. So when you come for the second type, that is completely opposite to that, that is regulative egg. So in case of vertebrates and most of the invertebrates, the developmental potentials are not predetermined in the eggs. So in that types, if you remove a small portion of an egg or even one or two early blastomeres, blastomeres are those cells which are formed during the cleavage of an egg. So even if you remove the early blastomeres, that will not affect the normal development. So that type of egg in which future development potentialities are not predetermined, so is known as regulative or indeterminate egg. So here is the picture of regulative and mosaic eggs. Regulative, that is the sea urchin, you can see here it is the normal larvae. So you can see that is the normal larvae they are formed. Whereas in case of mosaic, when there is when small portion have been formed, you can see the defective larvae will be formed, and also along with that so when there is no disturbance in that, you can see the normal larva. So this is the difference between regulative egg and the mosaic egg. So here it is the picture of different eggs of different animals. So you should know, there's a first one, it is an egg of a mammal, frog, fish, bird and insect. So you have to list out, depending upon it's the amount and the distribution of the yolk, whether it is a telolecital or isolecital or centrolacital, or you have to list it out whether it is a, that is a alecital or micro or meso or macrolecital type of egg. So here it is the picture of different eggs of different animals. So along with all these category, the eggs also have been classified into two types on the basis of their shell. You know that the egg which consisting of an hard outermost shell, on that you can see they have been divided into cleidoic eggs and non-cleidoic eggs. So these cleidoic eggs contain a thick and hard outermost shell. This hard, it is a shell which is permeable for gases. Yolk, salts and water is present in large amount in cleidoic eggs. Cleidoic eggs, they have been adapted for terrestrial mode of life. So example, birds and reptile, protopterian mammals and also insects, they lay, that is the cleidoic eggs. Whereas non-cleidoic eggs, their egg membranes or the egg envelopes are soft in these eggs. Example, all viviparous animals, and in oviparous animals, they lay eggs in water. So this is the difference between cleidoic and non-cleidoic eggs. So coming to the next, that is the significance of cleidoic eggs. Cleidoic eggs have a protective shell and they are laid out of the water. The shell is porous to air and may be flexible or calcareous hard. The calcareous shells, they prevents the egg from desiccation. The eggs contain all the food, the embryo that needs to develop into hatchling. The significance of the cleidoic egg is that it enables reproduction out of and often away from water. The cleidoic egg has been called a private little pond from the way it gives water and nutrition to the embryo. So this is about the different types of egg which has been divided into, that is on different criterias. Thank you.